Well. So they've got the shooter in custody. Apparently, the real shooter. He's confessed this. He told his parents that he did it, and the family arranged to have him turned in. And I'm very grateful that they now have him in custody for several reasons. And let's talk about it for a minute, shall we? I do not condone violence. And if that's a problem for you, bye. I'm an empathetic person. If that's a problem for you, bye. I want to explain something that I noticed happening yesterday, and I thought on it last night. Conspiracy theories from the left, from the right, from the middle too, they were everywhere. Hell, some of the conspiracy theories were being agreed upon with the right and the left, maybe. We're so quick to jump to a conspiracy theory, dear. We take little video clips and things we see and we start making up our own circumstantial evidence. That's because we've been lied to so much over the last decade, dear. We can't help ourselves. We can't help ourselves. But all kind of other things were happening too. People were shaming each other for having empathy or not having empathy over the situation. So much was going on. And I was just scrolling through just one opinion piece after another. People coming at each other crazy. Some people wanting to be violent. Some people wanting to shame others for their response. And I just, all of it was just swirling around. And I'm trying to make sense of it. The conspiracy theories, the reaction, people coming for each other's throats over their emotions or their lack of emotions. Just all of it. All of it. And anytime there's all that confusion swirling around and I'm trying to make sense of it, I always go back to the same thing. And it helps me so much. It helps me so much. Occam's razor. The simplest answer is usually always the correct answer. The simplest answer is usually always the correct answer. So I'm trying to find the simplest answer for these reactions that we are having. Whether they're visceral and we're bawling, or whether we are screaming, or whether we just are indifferent and don't seem to care. And even the reaction of blaming each other's based on their reactions. What is the simplest answer to all of this? And it hit me like a brick. As a matter of fact, I'll describe to you how I seen it in my mind. When I'm having these thoughts in my mind, I'm driving in a car down a long highway that's almost deserted and nothing's there. And all the thoughts are just running back and forth across the highway. And when the simplest thing pops in my head, it's a flashing light on the side of a desert highway. You know what I seen flashing in my head last night on the side of the desert highway of thoughts, dear? Grief. Grief. So I pulled in to the grief station, friend. And it became abundantly clear. All of the conspiracy theories were stripped away. All of the hate was stripped away. And at the end of the day, it was grief that we were all feeling. And I know some of you may be thinking, but I didn't care for Charlie Kirk. So how is my response to his assassination grief? You weren't grieving the loss of Charlie Kirk. And even the people who thought they were grieving the loss of Charlie Kirk were not actually grieving the loss of Charlie Kirk. We grieve in all sorts of different ways. Some people get angry. Some people get sad. Some people go into denial. It can't be true. Something about this isn't right. Some people become numb and indifferent in times of grief. You have been grieving the loss of unity in this country for 10 years. We all have. We've all been in a state of grief for a long time. And I think at the end of the day, we're all grieving the same thing. We're grieving what we thought America was supposed to be. We are grieving going about our daily lives. with a smile on our face because we know in America everything at the end of the day will be okay. And we don't know that anymore. And we haven't known that for almost a decade. We are grieving. That's the answer. We're in grief. This is grief. That is why we're quick to jump to a conspiracy theory, because part of us wants to be in denial. We get angry because we don't want to not feel something. We need to feel something, some kind of feeling that will help explain what's going on. It's grief. Our nation is grieving, not the loss of a particular individual. We're grieving the loss of compassion that we used to have for one another. We're grieving the loss of some sort of stability. We're grieving the loss of accountability. It's grief. It explains so much for me. You can pick things apart about people's ideologies. You can say, well, they were into this and that's why they did this. I don't think so. I really don't. Yes, people get radicalized and they do crazy things because they're not okay. How do they become radicalized? For me, it seems clear. It seems as simple as grief. That's how they became radicalized. They were in a state of grief. And it's hard collection of emotions, grief. You want an answer. So you'll latch on to anything that makes you feel a little bit more justified in your grief. If you're angry when you grieve, you will find things that justify your anger. If you are sad when you grieve, you will find things that justify your sadness. You don't have to justify your grief. And we all feel it in different ways. Not everybody grieves the same. Not everybody grieves the same. And you can't shame somebody for not grieving the way that you are grieving over a particular situation. Quit trying to point the finger at a cause for a problem. It was them, it was they. You're not feeling the correct way. You're not responding the correct way. We forgot that we're individuals and that we should be allowed to be individuals. And in America, we have been grieving unity for 10 years. We've been grieving solidarity and community for 10 years. And in that grief, some of us have reached out to others who grieve the way that we do and hoping to form some kind of community around our grief. And it pushes us further and further away from each other into dark holes and dark corners where we can stay in that particular feeling of grief because we don't know how to explain it away. The problems in America are solely our problems. And until we can take some form of accountability for our own grief and some form of acceptance in each other as being individuals, we will continue to repeat this over and over again. But for me, it's quite simple. The explanation for our reactions in this nation is grief.